What's up, everybody? I am joined by BMX legend Jamie Bestwick. Jamie, how are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Jamie, we had the opportunity to catch up a couple weeks ago in North Carolina, and one of the things you brought up was taking a bigger role at a place that I know is near and dear to your heart, and that is Woodward Camp. Since then, it's formally announced that you have an actual position with them. So, what exactly is your title there, and what does it entail?
I have come on board as a BMX program advisor, and it's having lived here for 22 years. I've seen Woodward change many, many times, and I've seen just the impact that it's had on action sports. And as we move into different times in 2020 and 2021, and we have a new dynamic of staff that have come in from Powder. They're looking for the experience of myself and Ryan Nyquist and Ryan Scheckler to really drive the program in a new direction, and something that not only is beneficial for the camp kids that come throughout the summer, but also action sports as well. I feel Woodward has always played a huge influential role in the progression of our sports.
Jamie, does your new role overcompass all Woodward properties, or is this exclusively just to Woodward near your house in Pennsylvania?
No, it's for all Woodward properties. I think the emphasis this year is on Woodward East, and we're trying a bunch of activations throughout the week with camp, and we're gonna monitor the success of those, and then apply them to the other Woodwards. I took a long hard think about what made Woodward successful over the years, and where we were potentially falling short. And so I've been reaching out to brands in the BMX industry, and I think it's it's time to reconnect with those brands, especially in times where there aren't many competitions, and everything is so sporadic, and it's almost like a last minute kind of hop in the van and go do something type of deal. So by extending, the reach to the brands and to the riders, and bringing them in, I think everything lines up for a fantastic summer at Woodward Camp. And, for me personally, I want to see the guys back at Woodward. I want to see them enjoying all the amenities that Woodward has, and, being a part of, the progression of action sports again.
One thing I've kind of noticed over the years, especially in recent times, having spent not nearly as much time as you at Woodward, but I've spent my fair share of time there. I felt like over the years, some of these epic, iconic parks would get torn down and replaced with concrete plazas, which is rad. But Woodward has plenty of concrete plazas, and it's kind of taking away from, I think, what kind of built, in my eyes at least, which made Woodward so iconic in BMX. Is there a chance we're going to see more of these big ramp type parks at Woodward, or is it still kind of trending in that direction?
Right now, there are many iterations of ideas that are going to be put into place over the next 1, 2, 3, and 5 years, including Cloud 9, Lot 8. Obviously, there is a big clearing that used to be the outdoor street course, which was all wood. That's been cleared, and there is a project that's going to happen there for the summer. I guess the people from Woodward can give you more details on that, and they'll be, unveiling the plans and what they have in store for all the campers this summer in the center of town. But yeah, there will be some concrete. Obviously, I think Woodward have seen the success of the concrete parks. Would I like to see more wood? Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of wooden skate parks. It's what I've grown up riding. It's what I've spent 22 years of Woodward riding. So I think we are looking at elevating the buildings to be more current and to be more in line with what kind of World Cup riders, competitive riders, and for what really more progressive riders, and essentially for what the camp kids, want to come in and see and experience and ride, and also, see their favorite pros, perform on those parks. So yeah, there are plans for many things throughout camp, and it's going to be an exciting few years for Woodward East.
I was out at Woodward Camp a couple years ago for a Vans BMX Pro Cup qualifier, and the turnout was awesome. A lot of great riders, a lot of people from the within the surrounding areas. Within 3 or 4 hours in every direction of Woodward Camp, there's pretty legitimate BMX scenes. The Vans BMX Pro Cup qualifier I was at had an awesome turnout. This past December, it looked like the USA BMX Freestyle event had a great turnout. You had talked a little bit about having more jams going on and whatnot. Is there anything currently in the works for the next couple months here?
Yeah, May 14th to the 16th, we have a Woodward experience going on. So it is a camp weekend, and we're going to be running jams throughout the parks, on the bowls, on the street courses, and it's just an opportunity to really kind of get everybody in BMX together and have a great weekend at Woodward. There's going to be vendors coming in the evening. We're going to have bonfires, barbecues, all that kind of stuff. And it's just a chance, for everybody to get together, especially in, this uncertain 18 months of where everything has been put on hold. I've really, it's something that I've wanted to see happen at camp, is getting everybody together. I understand that everybody's, kind of mixed emotions on the current climate of the world. But at the end of the day, I still want to ride bikes with people. And I still want to have a great weekend at Woodward Camp, and I want other people to experience that too, that, have either been there for many, many years, or this could be their first time at Woodward and they're fulfilling a life goal. So yeah, May 14th, we got a jam coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some big name pro riders coming in from the West Coast and, from the East Coast as well. And yeah, it's going to be a fun time.
So for people that have been to Woodward Camp in the past couple years, if they go this summer with these new things in place, how will the experience be different? Or is it too soon to really be very different?
Oh, no, it'll be different. This year, we have a different weekly program. We're definitely, working a lot more with the pro riders that come in from the respective teams and the brands. For giving back to the kids a lot more, but also, from a Woodward Camp perspective, we want to make sure that when we bring in the pro riders, we give them a great experience of what Woodward Camp is. And then from a programming perspective, we really want, the kids to get the maximum out of every week. So we've put together a schedule. We've kind of outlined time slots on how those time slots are going to work with the designated instructor or their counselor. And, we're really working hard this summer on, when that camper walks through the door, he's going to walk away at the end of the week, having fulfilled any goal that he has in mind, or, just got to ride with the best riders in the world at Woodward Camp. And shared those moments, which I've often been privy to throughout the years at Woodward Camp, and that to me has created great memories that have lasted a lifetime.
Speaking of those memories at Woodward Camp, when is the last time that your tires touched that vert ramp in Cloud 9?
Well, they emptied all the foam out of it yesterday, so that was a bit of a tough call. I couldn't get on it, but I actually rode last week. I was riding Vert last week. There are very few sessions on the Vert ramp these days. It's usually me, and it's been me for quite some time. I love riding Vert. It's hard because not many people want to ride it anymore, and it's an acquired taste. While you get people doing the biggest handrails in BMX, on one peg, either toothpick or ice pick, or you get somebody doing a truck driver down a 20 stair. You ask somebody to drop in on Vert, and it usually weeds out a lot of people. So, for me, it's been, it's been a passion of mine for many, many years. So I do love riding it. It's just that, when I ride, I usually have to employ someone to be a spectator for me, so that I've at least got somebody on the deck to hang out.
What do you feel like the future holds for vert riding? To your point, not that many people are riding it. There's kind of one event a year, and when there are no events, there are no events a year. You just see there's a little bit of a scene in the UK, but just as a whole, you don't see much vert riding these days, and it's such a iconic piece of BMX history. But to your point, where do you think this is heading?
I don't know. People asked me that same question 20 years ago, and I think everybody came up with the same answer back then. Just I don't know. We're just going to keep riding it and just having fun and progressing. And there was a time when there were many, many contests throughout the year for vert riders, and things change. Things change, but you only have to look at I guess vert and street have always somewhat been in a similar category, although street has really, superseded it. But from a competitive perspective, there are very few street events. They're very few and far between. And I feel when they do put street events on, they like the X Games, they're a cherry picked affair. They only want the best street riders there, much like they only want the best vert riders there. So there has been an element of it becoming a show over the years, but throughout the summer, I'm always surprised how many kids want to get on vert and ride. And whether they really young kids or they're kind of 16 and pushing towards 20, they like to get on the vert ramp and ride it. And I was lucky enough to ride with Declan Brooks the other week on vert, and it's surprising how good that guy is on vert. He spent some time over the years riding vert, but nowadays a lot of the World Cup courses all come with a 10-foot quarter. And and I think I went to Montpellier last year, and they had, I think it was like a 10 or 11-foot bowl set up, and guys like Rim and James Jones were absolutely annihilating it, going 10, 12 feet out the top of it. So, I think the future of vert for me, and I think I've said this for many years, is let's bring the height of the ramp down. Let's make it 11 feet. Let's make it 10 feet. 10 feet with good transitions, and so people can kind of segue into a genre of riding that they never really expected themselves to be in, but they'd always had great fun and found great success on quarter pipes, and adding a vert ramp would potentially bring a new dimension into their riding. So if we're going to move vert forward, it has to be on smaller ramps. I think 14'2" ramps are for a minority.
Do you think it's safe to say that there will always be a vert ramp at Woodward Camp?
I think there will. I think it's kind of the legacy of Woodward Camp. I think when you look over the years, Woodward has had many, many great vert ramps there. Obviously, the Titanic, which is something that very few people know about. I think it was like 115 foot long and metal, and it was quite the creation. And then we went down to the B3 ramps, and obviously Lot 8 had its own vert ramp, and then ultimately it ended up in Cloud 9. And whatever happens to Cloud 9 in the next few years, I think there will always be a vert ramp, whether it moves outside or to another building. There's always going to be a vert ramp at Woodward Camp, and there's vert ramps at Woodward West. They have the replica animal chin ramp, and then they have the one in the hangar. So vert will always be represented at Woodward Camp. It is part of their legacy on BMX.
I don't know if you want to dive into this, but do you still have a fire to compete when it comes to riding vert?
Right now, I I get more pleasure out of seeing people pull tricks for the first time and me being a part of helping them achieve success. So, you know, I don't know. I think, you know, after I rode one of the X Games with a broken back, you know, it kind of altered my perspective on competing, and that was the height of my stupidity. Was riding with broken bones. Although, you know, we've all been there as pro riders. Everybody's rode with some kind of ailment, but you know that was the pinnacle for me. And I pretty much said I gotta calm down. Potentially I could do something detrimental to myself and my quality of life. So, you know, I love riding vert. You know, I love riding a vert ramp with the best guys in the world, and competitions are always going to be part of my life. But, you know, I'm 49 and I'm 50 this year, and I don't foresee myself being the Dennis McCoy of vert and trying to see how far I can actually compete. There are other avenues right now that bring me equal amount of success and joy. So I'm going to cherish those.
Well, if we never see you at another one, it has been an absolute pleasure. And if we do see you at another one, we'll be looking forward to it.
I'll be stoked too. So, but you know, I think you'll see me at more World Cup events. So, and they're always fun. And if I can coax somebody into hitting a 12-foot air on a quarter pipe, then that's awesome.
Jamie, excited about the changes at Woodward, everything else you have going on. I think having your voice in there along with Nyquist, I think that's only going to lead to great things. Hopefully, we see some really exciting developments there in the even months to come in the short term here. Is there anything else you care to add before I let you get back to roasting some coffee?
I'm not roasting today. No, you know, just I think thank you for all the you know, the love that Woodward Camp has seen over the years, and we look forward to having all the pros out this summer and for the campers to enjoy those special moments. It's going to be a great summer. We're going to have great new parks to ride, and I think everybody's going to have a great 2021.